Insecurity and kidnapping, a major threat to economic stability, is the topic for today's discussion.
I'd like us to look at kidnapping. You know, you have kidnapping for rituals and you have kidnapping for ransom. Rituals, whether for traditional ritual purposes or for organ harvesting, they are beneficiaries at the end of behind the distribution chain. So for ransom, it's the same thing. There are people who are benefiting. But you see, like we sit down to always talk about government. They say a society deserves the government it gets. We all have a role to play ourselves. We have a role into determining who our leaders should be.
We have Fulanis who are living before. They are good people. We work with them. We cohabit with them. We don't have all these killings then. But this one that came out to infiltrate them, let us give them place. You can imagine coming to some villages in the north, they will displace the person that owns house and enter. And you that own house, you're now in IDP. I mean, and for years this has been happening. I labored to build my house. Somebody else came and took with gun, take me out of my house, and is still occupying my house. And I'm now the one now in IDP. And yet our government are still closing their eyes to this. Please hear us. Enough is enough. Yes. You have to comment on this. If this is not done, let government again. Second one, for me, a release. Employ not less than 100,000 soldiers. And some of our youths are ready to fight for Nigeria. Pay them at least 150,000. I did the calculation yesterday. It's 50 million in a month. Pay them the money we are giving them. They are asking for 1 trillion. Do you know how much trillion is? Pay these people, employ our young ones. To overpower them. Because there are about 30,000, they said, they are soldiers that are doing this. 30,000. Holding 200-something million to ransom. This is a shame to us. Please, let us do something. Employ more soldiers and put them there. The police and soldiers and even the Navy. You will see that we're able to combat them. So these are my own 2 reasons. And because we have looking for other ways, negotiating didn't make any sense. If you do this one, we will see a way out of this problem. This is from me. So we'll take a break now and enter question and answer. Q&A. Vivid view.
Say it and do it.
Question.
Mr. Champion, I have 2 questions. One, in recent time, there's been a clarion call for the inclusion of state police. What's your take on that, sir? And question number 2, how do you think the government can motivate our security agencies so that they can work more effectively in stabilizing the country? Thank you.
My name is Gideon Handru. We know these problems is already resolving in our country. What can the government do in order to invite foreign body to help them in order to tackle this insecurity in Nigeria?
My name is Ogene Suve. My question is, what is the role of the media in encouraging and giving more light to the youth concerning the security forces to encourage them to join and cooperate with them for the issue of insecurity in the country presently?
Welcome back. A lot of questions from the audience. So please, guests, provide the answers. Thank you.
Yes, with respect to the call for state police, I'll first look at it from this way. Nigeria is the only federal state that does not have state policing system. We have a unitary police, one police force for the entire country. And don't forget that as a federal state, we have people who come from different backgrounds, different cultures, different peculiarities. America is a federal state, for example. Every state, even universities, even some counties, which are local government, they have their own police force to deal with different levels of crime. I support the call for a state police, and I believe that with state police, we'll be able to tackle the issues in our different localities. And then the practitioners, the professionals who will be employed in those state police organs will also be very familiar with the crime, the actors, and what have you in those environments. So for me, state police is a plus, but the complaints of the people against state police is the fact that the political actors, especially governors, will use them to their whims and caprices. But I believe that if we have a strong judicial system, if a governor commits an act while he's in office, he should be able to answer the crimes when he leaves office. So for me, state police is the way.
Yes, I want to agree with you on that before you take the next question, because there's always two sides of a coin. You cannot run away from it. For the fact that governments may now equip themselves more and more with these police people to serve them all or misuse it, it's not enough to say that we don't need state police. So I think I'm also saying that we should have that state police. And then the governor themselves should also be very sensitive to know that having this state police is not for them alone. Where you're going to stay only 4 years, at most 8 years, you get out of the place. That's why you're going to start misbehaving because of and put everybody just to you for you and you alone. So I think we should give that a try. We have actually been having the unitary something for a very long time. Let's give a try to this state police and see what's going to come out of it.
With respect to ways to motivate our security forces, I want to believe that we have not done well enough.
Honestly,
we have not done well enough to attract very good hands and good heads into our security forces. Even the ones who are serving now are not well paid. I had friends who served in the US Army for a termed period. They served for a few years, and when they came out, some served in Iraq. After they came back, they were millionaires. They were rich because their payoff package was big enough to take care of them for the rest of their life. Today here, you work for 35 years, your pension is nothing to write home about, which encourages corruption. Motivation is not all about salaries. A private soldier earns about 50,000, but he still has to buy uniforms from the same money. At the barracks, enough to provide accommodation for the population of soldiers we have. So these are issues. And if we look at the fact that we have some people, 109, who sit in the Senate, and another 300 and something who sit in the federal reps, and all the need are provided to the extent that each senator drives a jeep of about 140, 160 million. We'll see that our priorities are misplaced as a country.
Exactly, misplaced priorities.
So
that's the problem.
The soldiers, our security forces, all professionals should be well paid. Our economy is in shambles. It will affect everybody. But then there should be deliberate efforts from government to help to show up these defects so that people who are going to volunteer to sacrifice their lives while they are alive and serving to protect us, they should be well paid and well catered for. That is my take on it.
The money in the hands of individuals in Nigeria, those of them looting the money that belongs to the nation, it's enough to take care of these police people we're talking about. We say we don't have money, but we have a lot of money in the hands of individuals who call themselves cabal and untouchables. They are here looking at us. All of us are here. We know them. So the money they're embezzling from government is enough from our oil, good oil, and many other things. It's enough for us to take good care of these policemen and the army that are supposed to protect us. Because this is why they don't have the demand anymore. They're not willing again. They're not willing to fight. Even those that lost the fallen soldiers, how do they take care of their families they left behind? Nobody cares about them. You now have police chaplaincy in police stations, begging people now to please come together, even those who are not even police officers, and one of them, talk to them, let us get some money to give to these widows and this one. What are our government doing? Nobody takes care of the family they leave behind. So who will you now employ? Who will want to go and become a policeman or soldier tomorrow? So we will really have a lot, and we know if we set our priority right, we will get it right in Nigeria. Amen. We do things that we're not supposed to.
With respect to the call to neighboring countries to support our fight against insecurity, I want to say that, you see, in international policies or even in local policies, it's all about interest. The interest of certain countries may differ from our own. And we have seen it happen with the way some countries pulled out of ECOWAS. But again, there's a military cooperation together, the Multinational Joint Task Force, MJTF, which comprises Nigeria, Chad, Niger. You'll find out that with the multinational joint task force, Nigeria contributes about 70 to 80% of men and resources. Are the other countries rich enough to also contribute, or are they desirous enough to also contribute? Don't forget that Niger itself is having its own domestic issues with terrorism. The same thing for Chad. So these are issues. It's not as if the call has not been there. There are bilateral relations with all these countries. There are also military cooperations, but the sincerity of purpose is what you should look at. Because when somebody commits a crime, we talk about these people, these marauders in the forest and what have you. They come from other countries. Why were they not stopped up there? How do those arms come from Libya into Niger and then this way? So there's a lot of things to be done. It's not just about even calling for cooperation amongst the other countries. What are we doing ourselves? Those arms come through our borders. At the borders, you have custom officials, you have soldiers, you have immigration officials, you even have NDLA at the borders.
All the ransom they have collected is to buy more weapons. At
the ports, the same thing. Arms and ammunition with camouflage military hardware come in every now and then. How do they get in? We are not doing enough as a people.
I think last week that they showed bags of Gary. They were all ammunition inside.
We are not doing well as a people. Because once somebody makes money,
that could also be the end.
Once somebody makes money, he builds a fine house, we hail him. We don't care how he makes the money. So everybody wants to get rich quick. There's this report, if you go along Badagry Road, the finest hotels are owned allegedly by custom officers. So how do we succeed? Some other people are in the green uniform in the army, sacrificing their lives, and other people are receiving bribes to allow weapons come in. We are doing it to ourselves.
Exactly.
We are doing it to ourselves.
We are worshiping money now. Money now is everywhere.
You go to the police station
money.
To make a report about certain criminals in your neighborhood. Before you get home, the criminal has been told.
Yes.
By maybe a rogue cop that this has happened.
You are the one that gave the information.
So it is up to us. If we stand firm to say no to criminality, we will succeed. But the problem with the average Nigerian is the fact that we have issues with corruption when the person eating is not our person. When it is our person, we keep quiet. We are not sincere. We need to be sincere with ourselves on all fronts. On all fronts. It is not a we versus them government. A lot of people voted and collected money during the last election. And they voted in wrong candidates. The candidates you are voting in.
3,000. Now my person, now Igbo man go vote for Igbo. Now Yoruba go vote for Yoruba. Now Hausa go vote for Hausa. That's where we are today.
They won't come up with good policies. They got into the National Assembly in less than 1 month. They got jeeps of 160 million. And a soldier who has offered to lay down his life gets 50,000.
In a month. Can you imagine?
So those are our priorities. How much does a police constable earn? Does he supply uniforms for free? He has to buy from everything. So these are the issues. That's why when somebody or some criminally minded person offers a bribe, he's vulnerable. So we have to do a lot ourselves to help to
what we are discussing now is actually the last question we were just talking before the audience asked is, what can we do to solve this problem? That's why we're speaking in this way. Because this is the only genuine way we can solve this problem. Let's stop this corruption and bribery. Those of you who have amassed enough, the one you've taken is enough. Let the money now flow to the masses. Nigeria is meant for everybody, not for a particular set of people. You people think that because you are in a position, you're already well protected. Yes, that's what you can believe. But what of others? Think of others. You that is leading now. Let's set a priority right in Nigeria, and we will get it. Please, it's becoming too much. We cannot even sleep now with 2 eyes closed. Anywhere. Farmers cannot go to the farm anymore. Business people cannot trend. Because we're talking about power. Where do we even start from? That's the question I started. Where do we go from here? No power for even the little entrepreneurs to even do their business. So things are escalating every day.
The role of the media. The primary role of the media is to inform, entertain, educate. It basically has a role in nation building. But how many practitioners are sincere? I'm sure we have all heard of the brown envelope syndrome. I read mass comm and I started my work career as a cub reporter. You see the way fellow practitioners scramble for these envelopes and crumbs. And then if you read the news, don't forget that a lot of even the media houses are owned by political actors. So those organs and platforms are to push their interests, not nation building. So a lot has gone wrong. We have to go back to the drawing board. Even on social media, people deliberately come there to distort facts. No doubt the media has a role to play. If you pick up a magazine in America, you'll see them talk about the US Army, talk about how, they are encouraging people to come and join. We don't have that here. Patriotism has dwindled in each and every one of us. We only remember we are Nigerians when we have a football match. That is when we remember we are Nigerians. So
and that is where we have the problem. If we can do away with tribalism
and religious bigotry.
Exactly. If we can do away with these two, Nigeria will do well. You don't mention we only remember Nigeria when we have football. That's correct. You won't know who's Yoruba, who's Hausa, who's Igbo. When they're finding, oh, Chelsea, oh, this one. That's all. Or Nigerian people, like Nigerian team are playing. That's all that brought us together. And yet we say we are one Nigeria. We ought to be one Nigeria, really. In everything. Sharing resources so that you get to the young. That's how it's supposed to be. And we're having it even before the Civil War. After Civil War again, every night. But after the Civil War was little, some years after that, we are also okay. You can sleep even in front of your house without fence. Nobody's even having these fences all around.
Dwarf walls then.
When criminality took over the place, that's why people start building houses and putting fences. It wasn't there before. I come from my house, say, hello, are you there? No. Now fence everywhere. Some even as long as a tower. So yes, we're still talking of insecurity. Our leaders, please listen to us. We're not here to annoy anyone, but we're trying to help you find solution to the problem as our leaders. Lead us well. I listened to Channel's conversation the other day with the man that got from Labour Party, Mr. Mbar also. And he was actually saying that we know what to do. Our leaders know how to solve this problem if they really want to do it. And he quoted one of late, General Sani Abacha. He said, Sani Abacha said, if anything happens under 24 hours, they didn't find solution, know that government hands in it. Big man hand is in it. Yes. And that is true. He quoted him. I listened to it, I watched it. So please, let us do something well and know these people. All of us there will die, whether you're rich man or not rich man. When it comes to time to die, you die and leave what is your mass saying for crying out loud. You cannot go with any of them. Let it get to the masses. If you now, the leaders now have now, in government now, really do something and get to last, we will never forget you. Post will never forget that when this person was leading, during Tinubu turn, I want to specific, things change for good. That's what we want, Tinubu. Help us, our president. Help us. You are trying, and we believe that God will help you to do more. Amen. So please help us. You know what to do. You have the boldness. The boldness for you to stop first subsidies that other schools don't do. Help out the same way. I know many people might be after you now and say, hey. But still remain strong. If you have a good purpose to help this nation, God will give you the backing. That's what we believe. We'll take a break now. We'll come back and continue. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for the response to the questions asked. Your parting words now.
My parting words are the fact that Nigeria is our country. We have no other country. Though tribes and tongues may differ, but we should believe in our nation. The interest of our nation should be paramount. If you see something, say something. Do not, because the person who is committing an act is known to you, then you will sweep things under the carpet. It will always turn around. Like they say, what goes around comes around. So the interest of the country is what we should hold paramount.
Yeah.
So if you see something, say something.
Thank you so much for all the contributions you made, for the questions we asked you.
Thank you for having me.
I've equally spoken enough. We believe that the word is enough for the wise. All we are saying is how we can provide solution to this problem of insecurity and kidnapping once and for all. Let us take that bold step and do what's supposed to do. Do the needful. Let our soldiers and police be well settled. If we settle them, we have all the money to do all these things because the money is in the hands of few people. That's why I'm saying there's no money in Nigeria. So if we do all this ones, we see that there will be peace in our nation, Nigeria. So I want to thank you once again. I also thank you so much, our production crew, the audience here and viewers at home. Of course, our sponsors. I want to invite artist Mass to sign out this program. Please join us next week and keep following our social media handles. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, that Vivid View YouTube channel. Thank you. I am a Hillis. Bye. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Welcome to the bando. Many girls in my condo. Exclusivity bando. Maxima. La money I define. Now in my mind. I'm finally decided. Ooh yeah. That money make me high sense. You know say money high sense. My stories are behind this. Ooh yeah. And people know they try. Now I sap on the wine. I cannot go on like this. Oh no, I'm about on the shine now. So sapa no fi try me, but better no go wine you. Ooh, yeah. Welcome to the bando. Many girls in my condo. Exclusive with the bando. What's in my bum? Welcome to the bando. Many girls in my condo. Exclusive with the bando. Fatima, waiting this up, oh. Now this will make me strong, oh. I go give them for set, oh. With plenty finesse, oh. Waiting this up, oh. Now this will make me strong, oh. I go give them for set, oh. With plenty finesse, oh. So massive, no delay. Sing song on the beat, say the cash it. I dey run the town, I'll need it. So massive, no delay. Sing song on the beat, say the cash it. I dey run the town, I'll need it. Yeah, I'm about to shine now. So sapa no fi try me, but better no go wine you. Ooh yeah. Welcome to the bando. Many girls in my condo. Exclusive with the bando. What's in my bum? Welcome to the bando. Many girls in my condo. Exclusive with the bando.